But away we go. This is game number 5 between Team Kessel and Team Spinal Tap. I actually didn't hit the right button to start that. Instead, I hit the play button, which restarted the music. So here we go, finally. Team Kessel and Team Spinal Tap. Spawning down here in the lower left-hand portion of Shakuris Plateau. This is the NASL Season 3 version, if you're really curious about that. He's in the red color, but he's playing for Team Spinal Tap. It is Loopy. Mellowhype will be spawning over here in the purple color. He's playing for Team Kessel, and I really messed up his introduction. But again, his name's Mellowhype. Yay! That might be the worst introduction I've ever done. So congratulations to me on that little accomplishment. You saw both players talking about the spawns on this map. If you're curious, you can spawn close by air or cross. It's just like the ladder version. The only difference between it and the ladder version is this neutral supply depot at the bottom of the ramp. I believe, yeah, everything looks normal there. So that's the only difference between this and the ladder version. Just the inclusion of that neutral depot. And see, Mellowhype will scout close by air just to make sure. This is silver set number 2. So again, we're back to silver players for TVP. And he's going to get in here and find his opponent, and he'll start harassing that SCV, immediately building the barracks. And that's so annoying to deal with as a Terran player. And if I may just say something to people who harass, poor SCVs trying to build the barracks, fuck you. Yeah. But the barracks will be built, and that SCV actually going to survive. He takes a little bit of damage. But Loopy not going for an early gas geyser, so, oh, never mind. Excuse me, right as I say that, he throws down the gas geyser. And we do see Mellowhype did forget his gateway a little bit, so this is 14 or 15 gate, standard, of course. So both players showing a little bit of nerves here early on, and I don't blame them. This, again, is from Week 1. Week 2 will finish up tonight, and we will have Week 2 broadcasts for you. I haven't picked my games yet, so I can't let you know exactly what games I'll be casting, but I will have Week 2 broadcasts as soon as those replays are available. As we look, everything very standard so far. Loopy does have the early gas, and we'll see if he throws down the barracks or if this might be a Reaper opening. It's really tough to judge with just the one barracks. But now Loopy, trying to make up for being a little bit behind, we see he's got a lot of gas banked up, especially for having his cybernetics core late. So he followed his normal gas timing despite forgetting his gateway, and we'll see if he makes any use of that or if he just keeps banking gas toward the end of the game. Loopy gets his SCV in here, and he'll find everything from his opponent, the double gas, the important scouting information. And I'm curious to see what kind of tech Mellowhype will pick for Team Kessel. See, he's hidden his probe over here in his opponent's natural, and that might come into play later. Loopy following up, he's got a factory and a second barracks on the way, and it looks like this is going to be a one-base play from him. He's going for a second gas geyser as well. It might be for a Banshee, might not. Again, a little bit up in the air, inconclusive. But Mellowhype playing very standardly his warp gate on the way, and really trying to chrono out this sentry, and following up with another stalker. And there's the starport as well as the tech lab. This will be for a Banshee, it looks like, and will Mellowhype be able to defend against it? It doesn't look like he'll have enough gas for Cloak, at least immediately, and he does actually have more than enough minerals to throw down the command center, so I think his gas timing's a little bit later than what he wants, and yeah, he just realized he needed 3 SCVs back in this refinery. So if he goes for Cloak, it's going to be really late, and that'll give Mellowhype a chance to defend. We do see the robotics facility on the way from our Protoss player. It's going up to a 3rd gate as well, trying really to make advantage of having this little bit of extra resources. But neither player seems too keen to expand, at least initially. And, excuse me, this is a weird build. So, Siege Tank on the way, there's Siege Mode as well, and he will throw down the Tech Lab on the starport as well, so it'll be a delayed Banshee. I bet it's not planned to have Cloak in this case, and this will be a 3-1-1 all-in. this not as standard as the 1-1-1 all-in because it does tend to hit a little bit later, but you will have more Marines with it and it can be more of a pain. This is the exact number of production facilities that you can support on one base if you're really curious about that. The scan coming down from Loopy, and he'll see all his opponent's units. And Mellowhype, I do not believe had the Observer, although his positioning, yeah, doesn't have that Observer yet. So the Immortal nearly out now, and that's going to be the unit that he needs. These Stalkers aren't going to be too useful to help hold this push. Stalkers are really only good for shooting down Banshees, so you need 3 to 4 of them, and you need to make sure you don't lose them. But beyond that, they're not going to be hugely useful against this push. They just get torn to shreds by siege tanks. It's kind of laughable, really. So what's really more useful to hold this targets and Immortals. He doesn't have any Zealots right now, and only the one Immortal. So this is going to be really tough for him to hold. And that's going to be a mistake. He hopes in 3 more sentries. Sentries, of course, not good at all. And what's going to happen now is Loopy's going to come up and he'll siege out in about this area. He has the Banshee to provide high ground vision, so he doesn't need to waste any scans or anything like that. And I have no idea what these bunkers are for. But now the Observer getting in, and we'll see if he starts to respond well to this. Taking the expansions is actually a good step, and more sentries. I'm really worried about Mellowhype in this game. That's just way too many sentries. And if Loopy did push, which he should, he's got 3 siege tanks. The Banshee is flying across map. He doesn't have cloak for it, so it's just going to be to try and shoot down some workers. But yeah, Loopy really should be pushing out right about now. Mellowhype might just have too much time to help set up his defenses. Even though he doesn't have the best units to defend, it can still be possible if you just have more units than your opponent. Now Banshee going to work, he'll start to harass the economy of his opponent. 2 blows so far. And now targeting down Nexus for no particular reason. And more Stalkers and Sentries being warped in. Again, siege tanks do extra damage to Stalkers. They'll do 50 damage to those armored units. And usually you'll see turn move out with 3 siege tanks when they're doing this push. He's got 4 already. I don't know what the bunkers are for. It looks like he's really scared about the Protoss player putting on some pressure. And this is starting to look like a really scary Protoss army. Granted, they're not quite the right variety of units that you'd want. But I don't know. Loopy has I can't avoid this. If the turn pushes out, he wins a couple of minutes ago. Now I'm not so sure. Mellowhype has had enough time. He's getting his economy kicking in. It is natural. He's got 3 Immortals to help deal with this. Again, no Zealots, so that's going to be a little bit difficult. Loopy has 2 Banshees. He's got 4 siege tanks, and he's still not moving out. He's just going to pool his Marines at the bottom of the ramp. He's really supply blocked too, and I feel like he's throwing away this game. Just on a builder win and Mellowhype not responding well. But it's giving him more than enough time. Now this Warp Prism actually flying directly past the Banshee. Doesn't look like that was spotted as there's no response from the Terran army. And the Sentry drop can do a lot of damage if it's microed well. And we see even the move out now from Mellowhype. He's not scared of the 1-1-1 anymore. And Loopy might be caught on siege. And now he's finally going to pull back. I'm not sure why, but the drop has commenced. He's starting to take down a couple of these SCVs. I feel like a large majority of them have been pulled. But some of them going down. He'll be able to take out these depots if he wants to. He's warping in Zealots into his opponent's mineral line now. A couple more workers have gone down, and he's evened out for the Banshees from earlier. And we see that Banshee got back in here. It was taken down. That was some of the kills, but intense multitasking from both players. Now finally the siege up. Boom! But he's taking care of these Marines, and once this Marine buff is gone, those siege tanks won't do a whole lot against these Immortals. In comes the Zealot. All the Marines now are gone, and all of the Immortals, although one of the Immortals, excuse me, still left alive, and he's starting to target those down. Back in the main, we see this has been not cleaned up. He's just going to pick up and leave, it looks like. But he's cleaned up his opponent's army, keeping all of those Immortals left alive. And like I said, Loopy just taking too much time. You saw the way those Stalkers just exploded. But having 4 Immortals really shuts down that push. Sentry's actually going to return, it looks like, and he'll drop them back off in the mineral line to take out a couple more of these SCVs. That's a couple more force fields than you actually need, and they will be able to actually squeeze out through that little gap. Another force field being used there. It's not the most economical on the force fields, and you can't afford to lose this warp prism. It gets out. But Mellowhype now with a big advantage. If we look, resources lost significantly in favor of our Protoss player. There's no expansion now for Loopy, and the production, well, he doesn't have any more production. But Mellowhype in a really good position for Team Kessel. As soon as if he's able to win this game, he will take home the series. We will still have more games for you, so don't worry about that. Every game is played for CTL, just for final standing's sake, and for tiebreakers, even if they're not necessary to determine who won the contest. If we look right now, units tab, 37 probes to 10 SCVs. A lot of damage has been done. 18 workers killed, so I guess he didn't actually make that many SCVs to start with. And he's not reproducing any. And again, if Loopy attacks sooner, he's got a really nice chance in this game. The sentries are actually back, and he'll finish gutting his bonus mineral, and he can even take down those couple of Marines. And that mule, all the mining that's left now for Loopy. Out comes the final push now. This is really scary. There's a couple of SCVs in with this to try and heal the siege tanks. But look at the army back here from Mellowhype. Army supply right now, 36 to 50 in favor of Protoss player. There's 41 to 7, and all 7 are in with the army right now. He's all in. All the mining will be done via mules from here on in. Unless he starts reproducing SCVs, which he isn't for some reason. So in comes Loopy, starting the siege up. He's pushing up the ramp with the SCVs and the Marines. He'll be able to take down the front Immortal, but it doesn't look like this is going to be too good for him. He doesn't have sight, even though he does have this Banshee. It's finally getting back in here. It'll start taking down some more of these probes. Mellowhype, I think, feels way more behind than he is. I don't think he realizes how all-in his opponent is. Again, there's still no cloak with this Banshee, so these Stalkers can't actually take it down because, of course, armored units on the ground are faster than helicopters. And the Banshee even goes down. That's the last of the high ground vision. Loopy will push up now with his Marines and his siege tanks, but this is going to be it. He actually takes down another Immortal, which is pretty key. In comes the Protoss army, though, and that will take down everything. GG from Loopy, down to 6 supply. The sentries even redropped back over here by Mellowhype, but really well played by Mellowhype. I think Loopy did throw away the game. If he pushed out a little bit earlier with his first pressure, I think he's able to take the game. But just waiting allowed Mellowhype to get up 4 Immortals, and then he never stopped producing those. The sentry drop back the other way was never quite dealt with in the right way by Loopy, and if we look, like 28 workers killed to 12, and yeah, Mellowhype playing really well, and he will take the game for Team Kessel up 4-1. That means this final tap is incapable of winning. Now I did take a look ahead. The next game is also going to be a forfeit win for Team Kessel, so they'll actually have a 5-1 advantage. But we'll go to the ace match, and that can help bring 2 points back for Spinal Tap and help salvage the week. So please stay tuned for that. Again, Team Kessel leads Team Spinal Tap 5-1, and they will take the game for the week. We'll have the ace match coming up, platinum level best of 3. So please stay tuned for that.